Good morning everyone. My name is Micki de VEYRA Torre from BTVTED 1K80. This subject is all about TLEIC fault, teaching the common competencies in industry. So welding clamps is an absolute must-have welding tool. So welding clamps allow you to firmly set up your workpiece. So the welding will produce a tight joint. And clamps come in many different sizes. It's best to have at least 10 clamps. So you'll always have one ready for the project at hand. Without metal clamp, the metal warpage produced by welding will throw your project out of square and create welding defects. This is the basic parts of welding clamps. So first is frame. So the frame of a clamp will typically be made from a strong metal such as steel or cast iron to ensure that it is not flexible and will not give under the pressure of the clamp. For reliably holding your item in place, the frame will take a different shape depending on the type of clamp. But some of the most common and well-known clamps have a curved frame in the shape of G. These clamps are known as G clamps, but can also be prepared to as C clamps, because the frame also resembles the shape of that letter. Next part is fixed jaw. So the fixed jaw of a clamp is the surface of one end of the frame, which will be pressed up against one of the items you want to secure. It is known as the fixed jaw because it cannot be adjusted. It is welded to the frame of the clamp and will be made from the same materials. The fixed jaw can have a flat or rigid surface that will come into contact with the workbench or workpiece. Next is movable jaw. So movable jaw is on a clamp is situated at the end of the adjusting screw or bar. It will usually incorporate a swivel head which will be pressed up against an object to keep it in place. So the movable jaw can be set at a customized position by operating the adjusting screw or a bar. This enables that users to have one clamps which will work in a variety of situations. Next is handle. So the handle of a G-clamp will be at a right angle to the adjustable screw. It usually takes the shape of a metal rod that is slotted through the far end of the adjustable screw, which gives the user leverage to turn the adjustable screw, make it looser or tighter. Next part is throat. So the throat of a clamp is the negative space found between the two ends of the frame. This is the area where your object and a workbench will go when you want to clamp them together. The size of the throat dictates the size of items you will be able to use your clamp. So a larger throat will be required for clamping larger object. If you have a specific intention for your clamp, you want to ensure you check the size of clamp's throat before purchasing to ensure it will be fit for purposes. Next is adjusting screw or bar. The adjusting screw or bar is the part of the clamp which moves and it is threaded through the end of the clamp spring, which is the opposite end to the fixed jaw. It has the movable jaw fixed to the end of it and can be moved closer to the fixed jaw to lock smaller item into place or farther from the fixed jaw to clamp larger items. So next part is release lever. So the release lever or release button on a clamp is pressed to loosen the adjustable bar and therefore unclamp your object. The release lever uses a spring-loaded system to operate and has the advantage of being able to unclamp much more efficiently compared to clamps with adjustable screws, so which can take some time and effort to unscrew. So next part is trigger. So clamps that are the trigger rather. The trigger is clamps that have a bar instead of an adjustable screw will usually have a trigger instead of a handle. When the trigger is squeezed by the hand of the user, the bar and therefore the adjustable jaw will move to a tighter position. When clamping an object with a trigger, you want to keep squeezing the trigger until it cannot be pressed anymore to ensure the most firm and secure fit. To loosen a bar that is trigger operated, the clamp will have a release button. So yan, sabay-sabay natin panoodin kung paano gamitin yung welding clamps.
Hello everyone, I'm Colin Canet, and today we're going to look at some more clamping ideas. And if you're new to the channel, I invite you to subscribe, and let's get on with the first clamping hack. C-clamps are one of the things we use quite a bit in the workshop, and the reason they are so popular is because you can get lots of clamping pressure with them. But the problem with lots of clamping pressure is that sometimes you can damage the wood. So what we like to do is use another piece of wood so that we don't damage the wood. But then what happens is now we're trying to screw this clamp together and hold on to the wood, and the wood's falling out. Look, here's a quick solution for that. Get yourself some of these high quality, extra strength magnets, drill a little hole in the wood that you want to use, and I used a little bit of double-sided tape on the back of them because otherwise they just pull right out. But look at, now they just stick right on there, and now you can clamp anything quickly and easily without having to worry about juggling these pieces of wood. And look, when you make these, when you drill the holes, drill a little hole all the way through, and then when you want to take the magnet out, just put a nail in the back there or a screw or something, pop that magnet out, and now you can use that magnet for whatever else you want to use it for. You know, I love these one-handed clamps, and you know, you've seen me use them a lot, but this one here, for somewhere I lost the little feet for it, and I lost one of them and the other one just kept coming loose, which is probably why the first one got lost. But look at, I've pre-coated these with contact cement, and when you stick this foam on, I'm going to show you this. Look at this. These things just stick on there. You know what? They're on there. They're on there for life. They will not come off, and these work really great. Now you can clamp things, and you don't have to worry about damaging the wood with the clamp. The foam in there compresses really nicely. Just a really great way of fixing these clamps when you lose those footings. Another clamp we use a lot in the workshop are various kinds of bar clamps. And again, you can get lots of pressure on these because you can really crank these down. And again, you have to be careful that you don't mar the wood. And depending on what you're doing and what kind of wood you're using, one of the ways that you can put something on here to reduce that is by using this foam. And I've showed you this foam before. This is almost a quarter of an inch thick, but there's also some thin stuff. Some of it is just foam, some of it has some sticky back. And for the sticky back stuff, it works just great. You peel the back off, and look at, now I've got a buffer on there so that I don't mar the wood. And it stays on there very nicely. And look at that. Now I've got something between the wood and the clamp jaws, and now I don't have to worry, or I need to worry less about marring the wood. You could use the thicker stuff, but for a big clamp like this, this is probably all you'll need. Now, these foam sheets are available at most craft stores, and they're very inexpensive. They'll last you a long time. I think I've had these for like 3 or 4 years, and I'm still getting use out of them. I love these bar clamps. They work really well, and I've got them in different lengths. They slide up and down to adjust quickly. The only problem is every time I pick one up, I usually have it screwed all the way up, so now I have to twist it all the way down. But look, here's what I've done. Drill a hole in the end and use a dowel and just make it so that it's just snug, that it fits in there, and that way you can unscrew that now all the way down very quickly And if you don't want the dowel in there, you just pull it out and you're back to the way it was. Now, those of you who have been following me for a few years will know that I have this assembly jig that I use for assembling picture frames, for making boxes, for doing door panels, all sorts of things. It's a really handy little thing. And basically all it is a little square thing that is absolutely 90 degrees in here that I can use to make sure that I check everything when I'm assembling it. But one of the things that happens from time to time, some of the times the boards are not quite flat, sometimes they move a little bit. Look at what I've got. If you look closely, you'll notice there's little screw heads sticking out. And what I've done is this. If you look closely, you can see that I've elongated the holes in the bottom of this clamp. Let me put it down there so you can see it a bit better. For the front, and there's the front, and for the back. And now to put this on, and I can put this on this side or this side. In fact, I've got two of these, another one around here somewhere, that I can put this on. Check how quick this goes on here. Just put it on like that, slide it forward, and now I just use a screwdriver so I don't strip those screws, and just lock that down. And now I have a clamp, a toggle clamp that I can use here. I can use this toggle clamp on this side. I actually have another one, so I could actually put two of them on here. And when I want to take this off to move to another jig, I don't have to buy a whole bunch of these toggle clamps. I can just take it, unscrew it, and now I can put it quickly on any other jig. Just that easy. Well, that concludes my video on clamping ideas, clamping hacks, and some of you have been sending me some of your ideas and some of your hacks on different things, and I love that. And if I haven't already used those, I'm happy to use those. Let me know if I can use your name, because there's some great ideas that people are sending me, and I just love that. I just love doing this stuff. I'm Colin Cadet for Woodwork Web. Thanks for watching.
So yun, natapos na po natin panoodin yung welding clamps. Sana may natutunan kayo. And next topic is all about HVAC technology.